Behold, Nami Skyla Prime has arrived. Take a look at my health bar as I fight these corrupted heavy gunners. You will see that I'm sustaining my health very adequately against these high-level enemies while still doing impressive damage against them from a cold start. This weapon is extraordinarily powerful, but the way that it is powerful, the stats that it has, it's a strange one. Here's the build I was using. It's a zero forma build. This is a phenomenal weapon, but it's just bizarre the way you build it. We'll talk about this build in just a second. Base 1.33 attack speed, that's the fastest in the game, tied with the Prisma Obex and the Taipedo, fantastic attack speed. Then we've got 20% crit chance, which is very good, but it's alongside a very bad 1.5x critical multiplier. Fascinating, we'll talk about that in a sec. Status chance is 30%, which is very high, obviously very strong quality on a weapon that is mostly slash damage. Our damage spread of 60 damage is divided into mostly slash damage, but a fifth of it is puncture, so you'll get some puncture procs in there. Overall, stats that kind of make you go like, meh, this is probably a okay weapon, probably does good status, seems alright. But as you've seen, the results in practice are just staggering, and it's not too easy to see why. This took a lot of trial and error to make powerful, or as strong as it is, and we used a lot of builds that make a lot more sense, and they were much worse, surprisingly bad actually. And I can't really tell you why all of those things are true, but I can tell you why the build that I'm using is so good. It's the attack speed that powers this thing. Having such high attack speed means that you can quickly accrue multiple status effects very early on. This turns on Condition Overload's massive damage bonus and makes healing return sustain your health. The other pluses are the types of damage we're doing. We have Slash and Viral to do lots of damage through armor. This weapon really doesn't care about armor, and Viral will have that health underneath the armor. And we also have some puncture procs. This mitigates the damage incoming to you and allows healing return to sustain you through fights, even against very strong enemies like those gunners. We have more than enough crit chance for Berserker, and critting is always the best way to increase the damage of slash procs anyway, since having more slash damage mods like this doesn't actually increase the damage, just increases how often you get them. We still want to be running Blood Rush here. It's just not worth using Organ Shatter because our multiplier is so low, but you're still getting lots more damage on those crits. Finally, defying the default polarity, Swirling Tiger is the stance you want here. Swirling Tiger's Winding Claws combo, which involves pausing in the middle, is an incredibly powerful combo that will knock enemies to the ground, hit them with many multi-hits, very strong combo, and the auto attack on Swirling Tiger is also much stronger than the alternative. It seems kind of innocuous and awkward, and I'm getting kind of attached to that. I really like this weapon, but it's really strange. I love that it's a zero forma build, even though the stance polarity is wrong. The polarities this thing comes with are just perfect. You get 2 Vs for these massive heavy cost mods, and then a D for healing return, which happens to be a phenomenal mod on this weapon. Exactly the kind of weapon you want healing return on. This is a great mod, but it needs the right kind of weapon, and the highest attack speed in the game is the right kind of weapon. This weapon is phenomenal, as you've seen, but I gotta say, it's a real case study in like bizarre builds. When I do these kinds of videos, I like to suggest some Warframes that might like this weapon. This weapon is a powerful, sustained healing weapon, so if you have a Warframe with some armor, like Oberon, who also has an ability to sustain his health, it could be a really strong weapon. Alongside his own passive healing and his passive armor increase, you could pretty easily sustain yourself through a lot of combat with this. It'll also be very powerful if you remove enemies' armor, so on the chance that you decide to use your Reckoning to take enemies' armor off, you will power up this weapon a lot. Some mods I recommend you skip when building this weapon: Life Strike. This weapon attacks way too fast for Life Strike to be a good idea. Life Strike belongs on weapons like Galatine Prime that do massive damage per swing, not weapons that have high DPS, but get that with lots of individual swings. Definitely no Life Strike on this weapon. Likewise, Weeping Wounds. This weapon's status chance is really too high for you to need Weeping Wounds. I know that seems a bit odd, but you're going to want some more damage in there of some kind, and I think Viral goes a long way. And the reason that those slash-based builds that I did test didn't do so well before is because Weeping Wounds is actually not all that strong here. You're going to overmax your status chance real fast, and then you've lowered your overall damage head. Relentless Combination does not belong on this weapon. You really do want that cold start damage to be good, but you don't need to increase your combo counter fast to make the damage better. As you can see when you look at this build, the only thing that makes our damage scale up like really high besides the flat bonus on the combo multiplier is Blood Rush. You don't really need the combo multiplier to go up that fast This weapon's power mostly comes from condition overload, and it has consistent status procs without scaling the combo multiplier up. So you really don't want to use Relentless Combination here, not the kind of weapon you want this on. Lastly, Primed Reach. This weapon has actually okay range in my experience, but Primed Reach doesn't really belong here. It's not very good at hitting big crowds of enemies. You still kind of have to fight them one at a time or like tightly packed groups. Also, I kind of feel like it goes without saying, but this weapon is fast enough. You really don't need to run more attack speed. As for expense, this build is relatively expensive to make. It costs some very expensive mods, some very big mods to rank up. Not necessarily the easiest build to make, and that's okay. This is a Mastery Rank 11 weapon, so I really don't think that's a big deal, but there's not much you can substitute. This weapon is what it is because of condition overload. You really need all of these mods, and you really need these exact mods, or this weapon build doesn't really do what it does, so I can't really offer any substitutions here. This is a late game weapon. Finally, I would like to offer you some supplementary materials. First of all, if you would like to have a bit of a primer on melee mods, how to build melee weapons and what various melee mods do, what the core mods are for melee, many as there are, I have a whole video on that. Check it out in the description. I hope that's very helpful. Second, if you want to check out all the other stuff that came with Hydroid Prime access, stick around to my channel, hit that subscribe button. If you want to be told when the videos come out, ring that bell. If you'd prefer not to, leave it off. Check me out on Twitter, Twitch, Discord, and Patreon in the description. Let me know if I can do anything else for you in the comments. Don't be shy, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks very much for watching.